In today's episode on the bench, we have a guitar that does this. So what we have here is the Ciari Ascender guitar. You may have seen it because it's had a ton of viral videos. Of course, how could it not, with people just reacting to how it folds in half? But sometimes that's just the gimmick of it. So let's talk about what it really is and get into it. First thing I want to show you is that it's as simple to fold up as people show. The only concern you have is, of course, if you have your hands anywhere near the mechanism that's folding, you can pinch your hands, but it's pretty straightforward. I just hold it from the body, just straighten out the neck like so. Hold it from the neck. Of course, like I said, keep your hands away from the metal part and just pull this handle that says lift here. And then one of my biggest concerns about this was there's so much going on in here that I was like, oh no, it's going to be a restringing nightmare. They shipped this guitar as a loaner, so we're not going to keep this guitar, but as a loaner, and they shipped it with 10 to 46 NYXL D'Addario strings. So what I did is I replaced those strings with new strings to see what it was like. And I can tell you, you just run the strings through here and you go over this roller, through the front, over this roller bridge up, and then at the nut there's a little piece of clear plastic that has holes in it, so you have to run it through there because I'm sure they don't want it to come loose from the nut. And locking tuning keys. So restringing it, I would say if you can restring a Bigsby tremolo, this is not going to be much different and more difficult than that. The disservice you could do to this guitar is call it a travel guitar. It's a professional guitar that can travel. I'll explain all of that when we go through it. Okay, so specifications. We have a basswood body that is extremely weight relieved, not only because they took all this material out for the bridge system, but this is empty up here as well. This is your cavity for your three-way switch, and this is the cavity for the volume and tone control, which have push-pull coil splits. And so obviously they're trying to keep the guitar light. On the website, it says the guitar is 7.5 pounds. This guitar came in exactly at 8 pounds, 0 ounces. So I would say that 7.5 is fair game. This is probably on the heavier side of that. But I'd also like to point out that when we say 8 pounds, because it's so light in the body, the most of the weight feels like it's in the center from this piece of metal right here. And so it doesn't feel like, like it's sagging on the back. It feels pretty good. We have a mahogany neck with an ebony fretboard. We have 22 medium jumbo nickel silver frets that are highly polished, and they use a Plek machine. And so I like to point out this guitar did not have any dead spots. However, it came with super low action. So let's talk about that. The action on this guitar came in at 1.25 millimeters, which is very low. And it didn't have any dead spots, but it gets a little buzzy. That can be corrected if you raise it to 1.75 millimeters, but it actually doesn't bother me. It sounds pretty good. It's not coming through the amp, so we're gonna leave it alone. The scale length is 24 3/4, so it's gonna be like a Gibson Les Paul. And when you're playing it, it feels like a standard size instrument. Fit and finish wise, there is no issues. The binding is done beautiful. The paint has been executed very well. The compartments, the machine work in this, which we'll get into that in final thoughts. Of course, you can't help but just continually folding and unfolding it. Like I said, the only concern is that you don't want to pinch yourself on this mechanism right here. Just go ahead, hold it from the neck, release it right here, go ahead and grab it from the body, fold it over, and there's a magnet inside that magnetizes the neck, and that's how I'm able to do that. So that's pretty cool. Now, this is what's really cool, is that it comes with this tote, or this little bag, okay, that goes in there. And why that's important is I'm not going to tell you, oh, it fits in the overhead of an airplane, because a lot of guitars can do that. This fits in the front, underneath the seat in front of you in the airplane, in this tote. So that's pretty impressive. And then also, it's important to mention that they loaned this guitar for us, and they're sponsoring the video because they sent the guitar. What they decided to do is, if you use the link and you want to buy one of these guitars, if you use the code that they gave you down below for the channel, they're going to give you a $150 backpack that pouch goes into, and then that way you have something a little bit more rugged. So that's a nice little gift. They're also going to give a little kickback to the channel if you buy one. So it supports the channel as well. But that's not the main thing today. The main thing is to just go over the guitar and share it with you guys. Okay, so like I said, hold it from the body like I did. Once I straighten it, you hold it from the neck, and then just go ahead, do that. And then I always visually check to make sure the strings are all on the rollers and they've lined up correctly on these little slots. You get a little issue where these divots are there, and the divots are there so that the strings, they have somewhere to line up on. And when you're playing, you can feel them. They don't hinder you, they don't feel bad. If that's something, if you're really sensitive to like this, just feel like if you ever had a dent in your fretboard and you can feel it, you can definitely feel that. But that's the only spot, and again, it's because there's so much going on right there. So that's the only negative when it comes to the playability of the instrument. I know we want to go ahead and take some measurements and maybe check the frets. Let's go ahead and do a sock test, because like I said, we know it doesn't have any dead frets. But let's see how well they polish the fret ends, and let's see how the bridge feels. So here we go. And on the treble side, we have a 5 out of 5. On the bass side, we have a 5 out of 5. On the bridge, absolutely no issues whatsoever. Normally the saddles here are a little sharp, but this because it has the roller, Tune-o-Mac roller bridge, it just feels really nice. And just everything fits really good. However, we have to point out, we do something called the handshake, where we hold the guitar by where the neck and the body meet to see, you know, is there anything that pokes you if you're playing here, how would it feel? Because of the fact they're using a backplate, because of the mechanism, because of some, you know, obviously they can't round it off as much. It's not super comfortable right there, and it doesn't give you ultimate access. So something to be aware of. That's one thing that I think if they were going to improve, they can improve that if that matters to some of you. Another thing that's really interesting is, you know, when you're playing the mahogany neck, which is unfinished, which feels really good, you're playing it, and then at some point you realize you're now playing on the metal. They did a really good job of making it feel smooth and no issues. The only way you even know really is because obviously texturally you feel that it's harder and it's cold. So you feel that. But I played for hours and I didn't notice or care. It just feels really good. In fact, like I said, the more you play it, the more you just get used to it. So let's do some measurements. So first things first, we want to do the nut. The nut is 43.17 millimeters, so 43 millimeters, or 1.699 or 1.7. The 12th fret is at 2.142 or 54.41 millimeters. Now the neck thickness is a little tricky because these strings are in this guide. So we're going to go ahead and loosen them, and then we're going to do the neck shape. Now they don't tell you the neck shape on their website. It feels to me like a D shape. So let's go ahead and do the thickness at the first fret. Thickness at the first fret is 21.94 millimeters or 0.864. Now at the 12th fret, it thickens up to 24.37 or 0.959. The carve I assumed that it was going to be closest to was the D shape. So when I found a template, it's a D-shaped neck, which is very comfortable considering its thickness. However, the edges of the fretboard are not heavily rolled, although they're not sharp. So they didn't roll them, but they also did take some time to soften them. The guitar also comes with locking keys, which is branded with their branding. And there's a veneer on the headstock to give it a classy look. So let's go ahead and take it in the studio. Let's see how it plays and sounds. I'm running it through a Fender Princeton, mic'd up with an SM57. It's running through a 112-inch speaker, mic'd up SM57, and a room mic. And we're gonna start with the neck pickup and just see what kind of tones we get out of this thing. You know, it's funny, it's not overly warm, it's not overly bright. Okay, let's go to the middle pickup, or go to the middle pickups. Now what's nice about the dual coil splits is I can coil split the neck and leave the bridge intact. So we go to the middle position, this is single coil, this is humbucker. Okay, this is going to be dual coil, single coils. Let's go back to the neck. I mean, it's punchy. So the one experience I've had with this travel guitar that I've never had with a travel guitar before is that during the playing sessions with it, I forgot that it's not a traditional guitar, that it is a fold-up travel guitar. It doesn't take very long to forget that because there's no real thing to notice. I mean, I know I mentioned the metal part here, but you know, to be honest with you, that's just not a big deal. The guitar feels normal. You don't feel like you're sacrificing anything. Yeah, it just sounds great. If you were never to fold this guitar in half, it's just a professional playing nice guitar. It's up there with anything else coming out of Nashville right now. But of course, you have to have a need for a guitar that basically lets you fold it in half. And if you don't, a lot of this money you spend is going to go to waste. I can understand if you're not in the market for this, but if you are, check out the links down below. I want to thank CRE Guitars for sending this Ascender out and letting us check it out. It was a lot of fun, and man, this is just really interesting to watch it in action, and very impressive, I must say. And on that note, I'm going to let you guys go. Till the next time, know your gear.